Hey everyone! Welcome back to Inside the Cage, where we bring you the latest and exciting updates of UFC. First, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Sean O'Malley and Bryce Mitchell's beef resolved. As you know, Bryce Mitchell is quite the character. He is known for his strong beliefs, whether it's his devotion to Jesus or his unconventional idea that the earth is flat. But now, he's embarked on a new venture, helping Sugar Sean O'Malley raise cattle and run a farm. Recently, he uploaded a video in which Mitchell addressed more than just the beef between him and O'Malley. In a surprising twist, Mitchell extended an olive branch to O'Malley and even seemingly invited him to Arkansas. While putting his ego aside, Mitchell issued a heartfelt apology for all the back and forth that happened after O'Malley mentioned him on his podcast. He asked fans to tag Sugar in his post, and it seems like a genuine attempt to make a change, but how O'Malley responds to this remains to be seen.
So Sean O'Malley made a video. He said that the earth ain't flat and that he wants to be more like Bryce because he wants to have animals. So first off, the earth is flat, and I can explain to you how. Second off, you can be a farm boy as soon as you make up your mind, O'Malley.
He then moved on to the actual apology that he had prepared.
I want to apologize to you, Sean. I want to tell you that the only bad thing I've ever said about you really is before your yawn fight, I picked you on and I said that your YouTube following wouldn't win you the fight. And boy, was I wrong.
Furthermore, many fans found Mitchell's 4-minute apology video to be authentic and sincere. Whereas the beef initially started when Suga implied that Mitchell was inherited, which understandably got Mitchell annoyed. However, after his recent win against Dan Ige, Thug Nasty decided to clear the air in the video and reiterated his opinion about how Peter Yan should have won back at UFC 280. Colby Covington exposes UFC's BMF title as hype. Colby Covington doesn't seem too thrilled about the whole UFC's baddest mother asterisk Sequoker title. Lately, he's gearing up to fight UFC welterweight champ Leon Edwards on December 16th at UFC 296, and he's not holding back in trashing the whole idea of that BMF belt.
It's nothing more than a participation fight to cater to their guys that could never win the undisputed strap. So, good for them. Their little side circus show, winning your little participation trophy. Good for you, man. But you're not the best. You're not the undisputed champion. You're not the best fighter on planet Earth. You're just, nothing more than a promotional tool, and they were used to promote that fight. They need a title fight, to sell a pay-per-view. So, good for them.
However, the BMF title has only made 2 appearances in UFC history. It first came into play back in November 2019 during a fan-favorite showdown between UFC stars Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal. Then, the title stayed on the shelf until this August when Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje squared off in a much-anticipated rematch.
I wasn't surprised. It looked like Gaethje had made a lot of adjustments since the first time they fought. Duck-lip Gaethje, had kept a higher guard and really worked on his defense. It seems like Dustin's over the hill and, he's washed up and, he made his fights with Conor and, he's not hungry anymore. He doesn't have that fire inside of him anymore. So, Gaethje still got a little bit of that dog in him. So, I kind of figured that was going to happen.
Interestingly, Colby Covington, who used to be teammates with Poirier but had a falling out, didn't seem surprised by the outcome of the second BMF title fight. Eventually, he took a dig at Poirier while commenting on it. Snoop Dogg and Conor McGregor's iconic pub encounter. Recently, Conor McGregor had a dream come true when he finally got to meet one of his idols. And yes, he is none other than Snoop Dogg, the rap legend. He had a concert in Dublin on Monday night, and he made sure to connect with notorious Conor McGregor while he was in town, even though they swung by McGregor's famous Black Forge Inn pub for a good time. Both stars shared a snapshot of their meetup on Instagram, where their combined followers top 128 million. At the moment, Snoop sported an Ireland rugby jersey, showing off some muscles, while McGregor had his shirt unbuttoned to display his signature tattoos and a wide grin. Before this photo, Snoop posted a video of McGregor in his pub, along with R&B singer October London. McGregor pumped up the camera shouting, "#1 in the charts, baby!" before belting out tunes with his new friend, who's signed to Snoop's Death Row Records and has hit it big with Back to Your Place. Interestingly, just a day before, It seemed like the former UFC dual weight champ had missed his chance to meet Snoop. He was spotted posing with one of McGregor's titles and chatting with his mom, Margaret. But the next day, the 35-year-old shared a shirtless photo of himself behind the wheel of one of his luxury cars, with something that looked like a cigarette in his mouth. He captioned it, "On the way to Snoop Dogg, gonna take it handy." Probably he did get to meet Snoop, who had inadvertently played a role in his journey to fame. Guys, if you're enjoying the video, we'd love your support. Just hit that subscribe button to motivate us to bring you more exciting content. Nate Diaz's $1 million fight plan. According to the latest observation of former UFC champ Rampage Jackson, Nate Diaz might have been dealing with a bunch of injuries before his showdown with Jake Paul. Jackson got the lowdown directly from Diaz himself about these injuries leading up to the boxing match. "It was a very entertaining fight, in my opinion," Quentin Jackson said on his podcast. "I watched it as entertainment. You know I'm going for Nate. Nate's always been one of the most real OGs. I'm going for him, but he just didn't look like himself. And then I went into the locker room later. I don't know if he said this to the press, but he was injured. He had a pulled muscle in there. And I can tell," I said, "man, what's wrong with you?" Because one of his pecs was smaller than the other. Oh man, I got a effed up pinched nerve in my back. Rampage mentioned that he has a lot of respect for Diaz because even after the fight, he didn't go public with these injuries. "I respect that because I got an excuse for all my losses," he said with a laugh. "You lose respect when you talk excuses, but yeah, I got excuses for all my losses." "There's no way I'm not going to show up for a fight because of something like that," Diaz previously said at the post-fight press conference. "You've got to go regardless, no matter what." Despite his injuries, Diaz had some pretty compelling reasons to go through with the fight. You know, he walked away with a huge payday, easily the biggest of his career. He made a whole lot of money from this fight, somewhere in the tens of millions. That's a massive jump from what he used to earn. Unlike in UFC fights, Diaz managed to negotiate a 50-50 split on pretty much every revenue stream that the high-profile boxing match generated. Just from event sponsors, he reportedly pocketed 7 figures, and there were millions more pouring in from media rights, pay-per-view sales, and ticket sales. To put things into perspective, his largest UFC payday, which came from his rematch with Conor McGregor, was a little over $4 million. Even though that event was a record-breaker and drew much more attention than this Jake Paul fight, Diaz earned substantially less due to the way UFC distributes the earnings. Adesanya's DUI guilt shakes the MMA community to its core. Last but not least, former UFC champ Israel Adesanya has taken a moment to apologize to his fans, friends, and family after admitting guilt to driving under the influence. Adesanya, who was the UFC middleweight champion until his recent loss to Sean Strickland, appeared in an Auckland district court in New Zealand and pled guilty to the DUI charge, as reported by the New Zealand Herald. Court documents show the international star was charged with driving a car on Wellesley Saint in Auckland Central with 87 milligrams of alcohol per 100 milliliters of blood. The legal limit is 50 milligrams. Certainly, the charge comes with a maximum penalty of either a $4,500 fine or up to 3 months behind bars. I want to apologize to the community, my family, and my team for the decision I made to get behind the wheel after drinking at dinner, Israel Adesanya said in a statement provided to the Herald. "I was pulled over and given an evidentiary blood test. The reading was 87 milligrams of alcohol per 100 milliliters of blood." He continued, "I am disappointed with my decision to drive. It was wrong. I know that people might follow me, and I want them to know I do not think this behavior is acceptable." However, fans might remember that this incident took place on August 19th, right in the midst of Israel Adesanya's training for his fight at UFC 293, where he eventually lost his title. All right, guys, that's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. See you at the next one. Until then, goodbye.